Library has a seminar program that provides an educational forum for the presentation of ideas, research, updates, and news in support of NOAA's mission. I'm Katie, and I will be hosting today. Please note this presentation is being recorded, and your name, email, and questions will be shared with the presenter after the fact. As an attendee, you are muted, so please place all your questions in the question panel. All questions will be asked at the end of the presentation. If you have any technical issues, such as no audio or visuals, please try logging off and back on, as that solves most issues. If that doesn't solve your issue, please feel free to send a question in it and I will try and help you troubleshoot that. Okay, let's talk about today's presentation, Career Paths and CAPS. This webinar will provide information, tools, and methods pertaining to employee development needs for the NOAA workforce. The session is going to focus on promoting a learning culture as it relates to career paths in the CAPS system. The overview consists of CAPS and performance appraisals, individual development plans, and coaching and mentoring to assist you with your future career opportunities. We are very excited to have Sharon Harrell from who is a human resources specialist, and Tatiana Sims-Parker, a performance culture program manager in the Office of Human Capital Services. Sharon is an HR specialist within the Performance Culture and Learning branch in Silver Spring. She's a program manager for the NOAA Onboarding and the NOAA-wide Mentoring Programs. She partners with the Office of Human Capital Services, staff, and NOAA line offices and staff offices to provide coaching and training to NOAA employees in various areas such as emotional intelligence, DISC, individual development plans, and more. Tatiana Sims-Parker is the Office of Human Capital Services Performance Culture Program Manager. She partners with the NOAA HR business advisors to provide consultation, guidance, training, and strategies for how to create an environment that views performance management as a part of everyday life as a leader, an environment that values its people and their contributions to the mission, values learning and development to maximize employee performance, and values innovation and continuous improvement to sustain organizational excellence. I'm very excited to have you guys here and to hear you speak today. Take it away, Tatiana.
Thank you so much, Katie. So hello, everyone. Again, yes, I am Tatiana Sims-Parker, and I'm so happy to be here with you. We are going to be talking about appraisals, so what it is, why it's important, and how to prepare for it. We're going to talk about a little bit about accomplishments, and then Sharon's going to close us out with development and some Q&A, and of course, the resources for you. So let's talk a little bit about appraisals. So the performance appraisal is a key part of the Commerce Alternative Personnel System performance management process. It is an act and a process of evaluating the employee's performance against the described performance standards and the organizational goals, as well as the performance plan. Now, our performance appraisals are on a fiscal year. It is between October 1 and in September 30th, so we have one more day. So congratulations to all of you that have been working really hard this year. The minimum appraisal period is 120 days. So if you have been on board before June 3rd, you will probably most likely be getting an appraisal, unless there's some sort of special circumstance. The appraisal process does require 2 formal meetings. The first one is the performance review. And this is where you as the employee get to talk about all the great things that you've been doing this year, and your supervisor gets to ask additional questions of you and provide you with some accomplishments that maybe you were not aware of as well. Then you will end with your evaluation feedback meeting, and this is driven by your supervisor. Well, they will share with you their observations and they will celebrate your success. Then at the end of the year, all appraisals must be approved by the pay pool manager. So just why is this important? It's important to raise others' awareness of your achievements and your growth opportunities. It forms a basis for your performance score. It helps to reward great performance. And it also does become a part of your official performance record. So your participation is very important. And ways to prepare for your appraisal, you want to maximize your results. So you definitely want to celebrate your accomplishments and you want to facilitate the exchange of meaningful, supportive, and actionable feedback so that you can be your best self in your job. Now, everyone plays a role. As employees, you will request a performance review. You will follow your supervisor's guidance. You will provide well-written self-accomplishments, and I'll help show you what a well-written self-accomplishment look like. You will attend your performance evaluation meeting, and you will prepare for your discussions in terms of what did you achieve, what were those results, those outcomes, discuss any challenges and barriers that you overcame, and then you can also request some developmental opportunities. You want to identify questions to obtain feedback on your performance. You will also discuss learning opportunities so that you can continue to be successful in the future. For supervisors, supervisors will schedule the performance review. They'll provide the supervisory guidance well in advance of what their expectations are. They'll review your performance record. They will be looking at strategy documentation. They'll be looking at the performance benchmark standards and other tools that are used in the organization. They will also write their own supervisory narrative of your performance, and they will submit an entire employee package to the pay pool manager. The pay pool manager will review these packages, and once they have been approved, your supervisor will then schedule a performance evaluation meeting. In this meeting, supervisors will be discussing your achievements, celebrating those with you. They will discuss any deficiencies, and they will give you suggestions for opportunities to improve. They will also determine questions to coach you on future performance, such as, what do you dream about? How can you take your programs to the next level? How can I better support you? They will also discuss learning opportunities to support your future performance. Then lastly, your pay pool manager or the higher level reviewer official, they're going to be providing guidance at the very beginning of the performance appraisal process. They will also be holding performance alignment meetings. These performance alignment meetings are to make sure that all the rating officials are on the same page in terms of what does it mean to be successful at that 40 to 59? What does it mean to be successful at 60 to 79 points? What does it mean to be successful at that maximum impact? They will also be looking at the organizational goals and seeing who has achieved and significantly contributed to those organizational goals as well. They will review those performance appraisals against the goals and the standards and any other strategy documentation that supports the performance of the organization for the year. They will ensure that supervisors apply a consistent and fair set of performance standards in appraising the performance. They will also determine performance payouts. They will also be your main point of contact for reconsiderations. And lastly, throughout the entire process, they will strongly encourage all rating officials and employees to work together to discuss learning and developmental conversations to improve future performance and enhance our mission delivery. So I do get a number of frequently asked questions, and I'm going to share those with you right now. One of the questions I get is, I'm new to my division. Will I receive a performance appraisal? So it definitely does depend. As long as you've been in your position for 120 days in any CAPS position, and there's no special circumstances, you will be eligible for a performance appraisal. But when in doubt, always ask your supervisor. Another question I get is, hey, I've been on detail for like an entire year. Who's going to handle my performance appraisal? Your supervisor of record will conduct the appraisal, and they're going to get input from your detail supervisor. And there are tip sheets within this slide deck that Katie will send out to you later for additional information. The third question is, my supervisor left or is acting in the position. Who is responsible for completing the appraisal? Well, it depends. If your supervisor left within the last 120 days, they will provide a closeout summary rating And then your new supervisor or that acting supervisor will take that in consideration for the end of the year appraisal for you. And your official supervisor record is that person that verifies your time card. The fourth question I get is, how can I ensure performance conversations improve future performance? So the Office of Human Capital Services has put together a performance feedback and coaching questionnaire. It talks about, some performance equity in terms of what do you need to be successful? What type of mentoring are you interested in? Do you want to join the NOAA coaching program? And it also asks you to talk about some of your future challenges that you see so you can get ahead of it and your supervisor can support you. So now we're going to talk about accomplishments. Another very key part of the end of the year appraisal process is your achievements. This is documenting your success, your achievements in relation to the performance plan, the benchmark standards, and the organization's goals. It's so important because it's raising awareness of achievements. Again, it's helping to form the basis of your performance score in addition to your supervisor's narrative. And again, it is a part of your official performance record. I do want to share this quote with you. It's by Sandra Day O'Connor. And she says, do the best you can in every task, no matter how unimportant it may seem at the time. No one learns more about a problem than the person that's actually doing it. So when you are doing your accomplishments, expand, share your story. How did you get there? What were the results and what were the outcomes? Because no one knows your story better than you know your story. In terms of writing accomplishments, I have a 3-step process. The first step is state the activity. That's what was done. What did you do? Typically starts out with, I developed, I managed, I published, I solved something. 2, describe the achievement. How well was it done? What was those results? Maybe you increased something, you decreased something, you saved costs, maybe you improved or streamlined a process. Be specific. And then the third is the impact. And that's the so what. Why does it matter? It can be to further a strategic goal, strengthen a customer mission delivery, contribute to your team's success. Maybe you resulted in a win-win. So we are at the point where we're going to be doing some polls, and Katie's going to be running them for us. And I have 3 activities. And the activities is which is better and why. And so we're going to be looking at the same accomplishment, but written 2 different ways. And you're going to be looking for those 3 items that I shared with you: the activity, the result, and why it matters, the impact. So if we look at column A, you'll see it says arrange travel for customers, right? Mailed customer travel itinerary. And then B says, hey, I actually am pleased to share that for each customer requesting travel arrangements, I responded within 24 hours. Additionally, more than 1,000 travelers participated in this survey and it resulted in 98% satisfaction. And because of this, I was able to help my customers attend conferences to increase their collaboration and their network to enhance our mission delivery. So Katie, if you go ahead and pull up the poll, please let us know if column A or column B is better. And then Katie, once you close out your poll, please share the results with us, and I'll share with you why A or B is better. All right, nicely done. 100% says B is better. And why is that? Right? It's because it talks about the activity, but not just the activity, the results and the outcome. Thank you, everyone. So we will now go to our second activity. And this one is, again, which is better and why? Column A says, this has been a great year for me because I led a project team. Katie, if you want to go ahead and pull up the poll. That developed multiple techniques for more accurate monitoring of various components of the ecosystem. Thus far, these techniques have resulted in streamlined operations and reduced costs. The outcome has led to the organization better understanding the effects of the environmental change on the ecosystems. Now, column B says, last appraisal year, I was on a team that developed multiple techniques. And Katie, if you wouldn't mind letting us know what we have so far. All right, everyone says very good, everyone. Yes, column A is better. And the reason for that is it talks about this appraisal year. And it says what I did for that project team. And it talks about the results that you had and the impact that you had on the team in that project. Where column B talks about last year, right? So different appraisal year. But it also says the team did this. So when you're writing accomplishments, you really want to talk about your role, your contributions. Thank you, everyone. Here's our last activity. Again, Katie, let's do a poll on which is better. Column A says, I effectively overcame challenges with the deployment of an IT application. 4 weeks before the scheduled deployment, I found several issues that weren't caught by the user testing group. I quickly resolved the problems before rollout and built in another level of review into our SOP for deploying IT applications. My actions prevented severe implications for the budget. It would have cost the organization 3 times the original budget amount to fix the issues after the application deployed. Column B says, I overcame some challenges, right? And then my actions prevented some budget implications. And I saved the organization costs, and I fixed the issues. So everyone, which is better? Is it A or B? And this one might be a little tricky. Katie, let's see the results. Wow, yeah, column A, very good. And so a lot of us are really great at writing, and we like to streamline, and we like to, make things really brief and kind of pretty. And column B is just that. It's brief, it's straight to the point, but it's missing the challenges that were overcome. And so column A talks about those challenges. And what's helpful for that, especially for a pay pool manager, your pay pool manager or your rating official may just think, well, this was just a part of the process. This was just a part of the role. But no, you actually had to overcome something, and you had to pull on other skills and strengths to do this well. And that should be recognized. So thank you everyone for participating in this activity. So some of the frequently asked questions that I get for accomplishments, we're going to go over a few of those. So I have a hard time writing self-accomplishments. How should I write them? Many of you can answer this, right? It's 3 parts. What was done? How well was it done? And what is the impact to the organization? So if you cover those 3 things, I guarantee you will raise the awareness for yourself, but also for your supervisors and that pay pool manager on the value that you have brought to the organization. I do have resources that tells you, ways that you can write your accomplishments, and there's also a template as well that you can follow. Another question we get is, some of my projects or initiatives didn't move forward. That happens, right? So how do I write accomplishments for those? How do I get credit for those? So realistically, a plan is a plan, and things happen, right? A pandemic can happen. Budget loss can happen. priorities shift, right? Or maybe we just decide to go in a different direction. It doesn't mean that the great work that you completed on that project doesn't get recognized. In fact, it's the contrary. You can write an accomplishment to say, hey, I did this. And the result is we decided not to move forward with it because it didn't meet our customer goals or wasn't going to satisfy the need, right? And that there is an accomplishment to say, I was able to do some research that if I had not, we would have wasted the government, the people's dollars. So you could always write something even if the project didn't move forward, okay? Another question is, I performed work that isn't in my performance plan. How do these accomplishments get recognized? So NOAA has an amazing awards and recognition program. And also under the CAPS program, supervisors may recommend an extra bonus to reward employees for special accomplishments that aren't really covered in their performance plans. And these are accomplishments that are significant. So maybe you're on a special task force, maybe you're on a reintegration team, but it's something significant that definitely needs to be recognized at the end of the year. Another question is, I want to be recognized in a meaningful way. How can I communicate this to my supervisor? So the Office of Human Capital Services has an employee rewards performance checklist. It's designed to assist leaders, your rating officials, with providing employees, us, with meaningful and timely rewards for a variety of accomplishments such as personal victories, big wins, extra effort, career achievements, healthy habits, and mission contributions. And then I'm having a hard time with staying motivated. What can I do? Right? That's kind of a theme in this last year or so. So again, we have another tip sheet, a little fact sheet that gives you ways to stay motivated. Working on projects that get you energized, that gets you excited, maybe stretches your muscles in ways that you hadn't stretched them before. There's all types of different ways that you can stay motivated, and you can test them and trial them and see if it works. And with that said, these are the end of my frequently asked questions for appraisals and for accomplishments. I'm going to turn over to Ms. Sharon Harrell. And Sharon, I'm going to take myself off mute.
All right, thank you, Tatiana. And so we're going to go into development because all of us are here because we want to know not only more about the appraisal process, but about how we can improve ourselves personally and professionally. So let's talk about development as it pertains to the appraisal process. So as it says on the screen, the goal of development is to align employees' goals and performance with that of the organizations. And we do that through assessments that we do self-assessments, looking at what our skills, our knowledge and abilities are. Also, our supervisors do that with looking at individual employees as well as the team to determine what strengths and challenges individual employees as well as the team may have, and to determine what type of training, what type of knowledge is needed, not just currently, but in the future. So there are questions that you can ask yourself, what does the team need from me? Where do I want to be in the next few years? How can I improve on the skills that I have? And how can I work on the challenges? And as supervisors, you can ask the same questions. What does my team need to do to improve? Where should we be in the next few years based on what the organization is looking to do? And how can I work with my team to improve the skills that they have, as well as try to fill the gaps on the challenges that they might have? So as we move forward through our next slide, we're going to talk more about the development opportunities here at NOAA. So coming straight into the door, we have our onboarding program. And our NOAA onboarding program not only facilitates new employee orientation every 2 weeks, but it also provides monthly training with speakers that helps NOAA employees to get acclimated to NOAA holistically over their first 12 months of employment. So we provide webinars that allow employees to learn about the various offices. We have them that learn about the employee resource groups. We also have them to learn about just what's going on and provide various information. And then there's also our structure and the pieces that we have to help the employees to be better employees and to grow and develop. So they can do that through the learning needs assessment and seeing what is needed, what they have, and how we can put that together. And then we have our Chief Learning Officers Council, where every office within NOAA has a designated person. Kenya Smith is the NOAA Chief Learning Officer, and they get together on a monthly basis to talk about the learning needs of NOAA as well as the specific office and how we can accomplish those things. And then within each line and staff office, there's various trainings and certificates that employees must have, and then voluntary trainings that you need to do in order to improve yourself. So we're going to continue to talk about our learning and development opportunities on our next slide, where we're going to talk about the NOAA Lantern program, which is a professional development program that we have here. The Lantern program, which took the place of the NRAP, is where employees can go and review various assignments within NOAA that a manager or a supervisor or program manager has put out there, saying that they need assistance in a particular project or area for as little as 1 day or as long as 12 months. Also, we have the mentoring program. We have the NOAA-wide Mentoring Program that's about to kick off its 22 program year starting in October, but various offices within NOAA, as well as employee resource groups, such as NOAA Pride and Latinos at NOAA, have developed their own mentoring programs. And so we all work together to accomplish that goal. And then within NOAA, we also provide various assessments that employees can take to learn more about themselves, such as DISC, MBTI, emotional intelligence. And you can do them as individuals and teams, and we provide training and debriefings on those. We have individual development plans. Those are highly recommended within NOAA, that employees complete those so they can write down their goals, work with their supervisor to see what those goals are and work towards not just accomplishing the goals, but implementing the training, the skills, the knowledge that they received once they accomplish the goal. We want to see it actually being utilized within the employee's career. And so after the IDP is completed and the goals are met, you want to put those actions in place. And then we also have coming up the NOAA Facilitators Network. We're building that back up. And then you have the CLC. We have the NOAA Leadership Seminar that just happened in August and happens every year, where now that we're virtual, everybody can attend. It doesn't matter what grade level you are or where you are in the United States. It's accessible for everyone. We have the LCDP, the Leadership Competency Development Program, that is for NOAA employees that are at the grade 13 level and above to apply. And we have the Treasury Executive Institute that offers all types of training and development opportunities to all NOAA employees beginning October 1st. But you have to be at the grade 14 and above level to get access to those trainings, or the equivalent to those grade levels. And for supervisors, we offer various trainings as well. So we have trainings in the CLC. We also, through OHCS, offer the monthly supervisors webinar. And then we have the management skills for NOAA supervisors. It used to be the management skills for new supervisors, but we know that all supervisors need training and continuing development. So we changed the title, and we're going to make sure it's tailored, that no matter what level you're in, no matter how much experience you've had as a supervisor, that we're going to continue to develop you as a NOAA supervisor. So as we move on to the next slide, we'll have a few questions. Like Tatiana asked you a few questions, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to see where you are with your knowledge. It says, I've heard that the NOAA Coaching Network can help me with career development and skill building. How can I request a coach? Well, there's several ways. One, you can, when you receive this information, you can go to the link and click on the request a coach, the form, and enter in your information, and you can be assigned a coach. Or you can go to the CLC and also see the form and request a coach, or you can contact our coaching network by emailing noaa.coaching@noaa.gov. Coaching is a way that the coach and the coachee or the client can partner to utilize thought-provoking and creative process to inspire the coachee or the client to maximize their personal and professional potential. The coach is there not as an expert in the area in which the client is looking to accomplish their goals, but as a support person to help them work through the challenges that they may face as they are going towards working and accomplishing that goal. So if a coach is not available, then you'll be placed on a waiting list, because we have a limited amount of coaches. So if you are a coach, then we highly recommend that you join our coaching community of practice, so you can help the so many requests that we get in. So let's go on to the next question. It says, I've heard that mentoring can help me to find my niche in NOAA, build strategic relationships, and gain a broader perspective of our mission. How can I join the NOAA mentoring program? Well, you can join by, as I mentioned, once you get this information, you'll be able to click on the links and find information about our upcoming program year for 2022. Or you can email me at noaa.mentoring@noaa.gov and find out more information. Coaching is a great way for employees to get together and share experience. And what I mean is that not only does the mentor provide advice and guidance to the mentee, but it's always reciprocated, where the mentor receives great information, able to learn from the mentee. So it's a win-win situation on both sides. All right, next question. I want to go on a detail or rotational assignment. How can I do this? Well, let's see. You can do it by going to the NOAA Lantern program, going through the NOAA Lantern program, which was formerly the NRAP. And as you know, or if you're have been with NOAA more than a couple of years, you know, NRAP was only offered twice a year, and you only could apply during that certain period of time. Well, the NOAA Lantern program is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It doesn't matter where you are. You can do virtual as well as in person, wherever in person is allowed. Again, they could be just as short as 1 day or as long as 30 days consistently or more. It just depends on the assignment. And so you could go to the website, on the OHCS website, and find out more about the NOAA Lantern program, or you can email noaa.lantern@noaa.gov and find out more information. There's a coordinator in every line and staff office that can assist you with being part of the program if you're interested in the detail or rotational assignment, or if you have a project that you want to place on the NOAA Lantern, So you can contact your coordinator and they can assist you with placing an assignment there to have someone come in to do a detail with you. All right, next slide. So our next question is, I want to build a development plan to improve my performance. How can I do this? Well, that would start with creating your individual development plan. There are about a few steps that you need to do in creating your IDP. That's the first step would be determine what your goal is. And a goal, you want to make sure they're smarter goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. You evaluate them and then you reward yourself after the goal ends. So you want to make sure that you have those down. Then you talk with your supervisor about that. You might talk to your mentor before then, if you have one, to kind of go over it, your goals, to see if they can advise you or provide you guidance on some of the information that you put down on your goals. Have that conversation with your supervisor once you have your IDP and tell them, this is what you want to do, and you and the supervisor agree. You want to go back and think about the questions that I talked about before. What is it that my organization is looking for in their employees over the next 2 to 3 years? Where do I want to be in the next 2 to 5 years? Is it here at NOAA? Is it somewhere else? Do I want to be at this current grade level, or do I want to go up? Do I want to go into a new type of series or job position? Also, you want to look at the skills that you have. Look at the things that you do great and how can you improve on them. Say, well, how can I improve on great? Well, you can be greater, I guess, and improve on those skills. Also, you want to look at what are the things that you're having challenges with and how you can develop those and make those better. Then you also have to look at it from the supervisor's way and say, well, what is it that I can assist my team with? Or as a supervisor, what is it that my team needs in order to make themselves better? Where does my overall division, organization, line of staff office plan on being in the next few years? How can I improve on the challenges that my team has and moving forward? So all of that goes into the process of putting together the IDP. Once the IDP is agreed upon with the supervisor and employee, then it's implementing those action steps in order to reach those goals. After you have reached the goal, then it's putting in place different activities, events, projects in which the employee can go out and show to you as a supervisor as well as other employees what they've gained. It could be where they just write up a paper to explain what is it that they've done. They could facilitate a meeting to also gain experience. It could be creating a project. Either the supervisor have a project and determine what the project in order for the employee to do, or the employee can say, I see a need for us to put together something and I have the skill, I have the knowledge, let me utilize that by leading a team or overseeing a project. So you don't want to just use that IDP as a checkbox. You want to use it to develop yourself. And we have a template and a guide and a sample IDP on the OHCS website. And if once you get this information, you can go to the link that's shown on the screen and be able to access that information. So next slide, please. All right. I want to develop my leadership skills. What is the LCDP and who's eligible to apply? Well, as we mentioned before, LCDP stands for Leadership Competency Development Program. It's an 18-month program for NOAA that offers leadership development. Within the program, there's a cadre of employees that from across the NOAA line and staff offices where they have learning and development opportunities and experiences. They're able to go on details and just enhance themselves as they learn more about the NOAA strategic vision, mission, and goals, as well as business processes. There is a application process, and it is very competitive, but it's a great program. As a matter of fact, they're about to start up their next cadre in just a few months. But the target area are GS 11, 12s, and aboves, as well as their equivalents. And you have to be with NOAA a minimum of 2 calendar years in a full-time permanent federal position. So for more information, you can go to the OHCS website and look up the LCDP webpage. All right, next slide, please. All right, so here we are at the question and answer period. So we want to see what questions have come in about the information that Tatiana and I have provided.
Great, thanks, Sharon and Tatiana. So first up, there was asking where they could find all of the Human Capital Services worksheets and fact sheets, and I've done my best to put them in the chat from the ones that were in this slide deck. I also linked to the Human Capital Services internal website, but is there another page or location folks should be going for worksheets and fact sheets?
So for performance, I do have a performance management webpage, which is included in the slide deck on our resource page. And there you will find probably 30 or 40 different fact sheets to whatever your heart desires. And then I'll let Sharon talk about the development piece.
So Katie, I want to thank you for doing your best to put things into the chat. I know that might have been a little difficult as we were going through everything, but on the OHCS website, yes, you'll be able to find information about what we just discussed. The best thing to do is either to grab it out of the chat or wait until Katie distributes the information, and you'll be able to go directly to the links. And if you have questions about the information, again, we provided the email addresses to most of the programs that are offered, and you can email them directly and speak with a program manager about those issues.
Absolutely. And then for performance, definitely go to your supervisor first if you have some questions. And most supervisors, if you have questions, go to your HR business partner. And if they have questions, they will come to me and we will come full circle. Thank you, Katie.
Great. We did have one question earlier. It was more of an observation, but I do think it would be good to discuss. In activity 1, Tatiana, if we could go back to that slide, you're asking which is better, column A or column B, about writing accomplishments. And someone in the question panel noted that they have been instructed to fill out their accomplishments like column A. So what should folks do in that situation?
So when in doubt, always listen to your supervisor. They give you the guidance and the feedback. And so, I will say that I have heard this. This is nothing new. A lot of times supervisors like, we don't want 4 and 10 pages. We don't want a dissertation. Just give us some high level bullets of what you've done in those results. The difference in this column A is just what you've done, right? It doesn't talk about the results. It doesn't talk about the impact. But again, when in doubt, follow your supervisor's suggestions. Thank you.
Great, thanks. That is actually the end of the questions. We only had those 2 come in so far. So if you guys want to go on and talk about resources and next steps, please continue.
Thank you, Katie. So in terms of performance for next steps, the effective date of the payout is going to be October 25th. So employees are going to be seeing any bonuses and any percent increases that may be coming their way for caps in their November 11th paycheck, so right before the Thanksgiving holiday. And then when you have been given your evaluation feedback meeting, you have your scores, and let's say that you have some questions, you have some concerns, you want to file a reconsideration, that will go directly to your pay pool manager, okay? And then all plans for FY22 do need to be established by November 30th. Now, in terms of next steps for development, that's 365 days of the year, Sharon said earlier.
Yes.
So
Yes, so for development, I do want to say, like with the IDPs, you do not have to wait until performance time. You can pull it out today and start working on it right now. You can, if you want to wait until you get your performance plan for FY22, you can do that. Just remember that it's a tool, it's a communications roadmap for you. It is not something that if you don't complete everything, you have to beat yourself up with, nor is it that your supervisors should hold it against you? Because one, it is not mandatory here at NOAA to have one. It's not mandatory within DOC to have one, but it is highly recommended because when we write things down, we're more accountable for doing them. It holds ourselves accountable. When you share with others, they will hold you accountable. And then a lot of times that people do stuff not because they want to do it. I'm not going to say a lot of times, but there are times when people do stuff because they have made a commitment, either written or verbal commitment to someone else to say, hey, I plan on doing these things, and they get it done. So if that's you, because I know that can be me, put it down on paper, and so you can go forward. So as we have here, there are tons of things that you could do. You can go through the CLC for training. They have CAPS overview and performance appraisal training in the CLC on how to give feedback, develop employees, the employee development plan trainings there, how to write your accomplishments, so much information there. Then as you can see on the screen, again, we're going to share these slides with you, but you have the fact sheets about the annual performance appraisal. You have ones about writing accomplishments. We have the great podcast that Tatiana does on a regular basis. So you have to listen to these. These are some great podcasts that she puts together and shares for our NOAA employees on the OHCS website. And you can just take the time out yourself to go and look for different training and opportunities that's available, paid and unpaid. You can read a book, you can listen to a podcast, you can go to a TED Talk or listen to a TED Talk. There's so much that you can do to develop yourselves professionally and personally. And one thing I always say is that once you start developing yourself personally, it's going to come out professionally. So you do that. And again, Tatiana has so much information here with the rewards preference checklist, motivation fact sheet, performance feedback and coaching questionnaire, and the employee performance planning interview sheet, and creating performance metric worksheet. So we have a lot of resources available for our NOAA workforce. Please take advantage of all those things.
yeah, absolutely. And I will just say, put a shameless plug in for the Performance Talk podcast. So last year, we really focused on the new normal, leading with empathy, mindfulness, virtual presence. And then we ended this year rater bias. But this year, we're going to be focused on the next new normal. So it's the future of work, hybrid readiness, digital age, psychological safety. So please do tune in for those, because it gives you practical tips and advice on how we can continue to weather this storm together and be supportive with one another. So with that
Yes.
said, thank you, Sharon.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
Katie.
Tatiana. Yes, thank you all. Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, Sharon. This has been great. If you did have a question and you didn't, it hasn't quite formulated yet, here are their contact information. I have also put that in the chat along with the podcast. That sounds very, very interesting, and I will be listening. But if you don't, if we didn't answer your questions, please email them here. Please check out the Office of Human Capital Services webpage. And thank you all for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful and safe, healthy rest of your Wednesday. Thank you all.
All right. All right.
Bye.